Guys, Leia here. So first of all, to address the elephant in the room, yes, my hair is wet. I told myself that I was going to film this video every single day this week, and now it's Friday and I needed to take a shower before work because I'm going somewhere on my lunch break, because I get like an hour lunch break. Well, actually an hour and a half, because today is draft day. Here we are, filming a video with wet hair. So not only did you probably click on this video because you saw the title of the video, well, that just happened. Don't mind me. My light went out because I lost the, so my light uses a USB plug into a power block, and I don't have any USB power blocks right now. Like, I don't know what happened to the one that was attached to it when I was in Chicago. Don't know what happened to it, so I plugged it into my computer, and then my computer died, so I had to plug in my computer as well. So yeah, this is what we're going with. So, not only do you know what this video is about if you saw the title, you also know what this video is about if you happen to follow me on TikTok, because I talked about this topic on TikTok. So there is still going to be a separate entry in the eating disorder series that's going to be about binging, and I don't want to get too much into the specifics of it, but I have gained a substantial amount of weight. I do not want to say the number, but it is an amount of weight that is almost unbelievable to have gained. And, you know, you probably didn't see it if you were on my YouTube channel, because my last video, I believe, was when I went to Iowa City and got my COVID test and I was positive for COVID, and then I just came back several months later. Well, I had a Why I'm No Longer Vegan video that I think I actually filmed before I went to Sioux City. Anyway, I went a long period of time without filming videos. I stopped filming videos in about, I want to say at the beginning of October, and I didn't start filming videos again until the beginning of February. And over that time, I gained a whole bunch of weight. And I wish I could say that it was complicated, but something happened in Sioux City. When I went to Sioux City, I initially was very sick. I was still very sick, dealing with really bad stomach problems, and dealing with just, you know, the funny thing was that I don't know if it's that I didn't process the fact that I hadn't been laid off and that my job was gone. I don't know if it was because I was in denial, because I also had a friend unalive themselves around the same time that I got laid off. I don't really know what it was, but I binged a couple of times to cope with my emotions, but I was very much in Leia is getting things done mode and not in depression mode. And I think that when I went to Sioux City, I just ate. I don't want to blame work because it's not their fault, but basically, like, I was eating out 3 times a day. I would eat at the hotel. I would eat whatever it was at the hotel. And it was like one of those like build your own breakfast bars. And then at lunch, they would order takeout for me. And then at dinner, I didn't really have any options other than takeout because, you know, at that point, I was using my walker a lot. I was using my braces a lot. I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't just go walk to like a CVS and pick up some protein drinks. I couldn't do the types of things that I would have liked to do. So I was eating out, and like, I wasn't sick. I was tired. I was severely tired. I was coming home from work at 5 p.m. and going to bed at 6 p.m. and sleeping until 6 a.m. I just had a very difficult time with everything. But I wasn't sick. And then I came home and I just continued that. I don't know why I'm getting into all of this. This is like binge eating disorder territory, but I found that I was still severely tired. Like, I have a lunch break every day. It used to be from 3 to 4. Now it's from whenever to whenever, normally from like 8 to 9. I knew that I was depressed, but I didn't want to say anything. And I felt like if I made any YouTube videos, tearing up. I felt like if I made any YouTube videos about how much I liked my job and how great it was, that I would be lying to you, and I don't ever want to lie. Like, I don't like being a fake or an authentic person. I like being me. I don't want to put out a fake picture. And so I just didn't film. I didn't film YouTube. I didn't film TikTok. I couldn't even open the TikTok app because whenever I open TikTok, I want to film. And I just couldn't because it was painful, because I felt like everybody was out there living their best life. And I was laying in bed, binging severely, having my blood sugars go out of control, and just generally not doing well. And I didn't want it to seem like I was ingrateful. I didn't want it to seem like I didn't appreciate everything that my work had done, because like, they did a lot for me. I became the company's very first 100% remote worker, and they, you know, paid for me to come into Sioux City multiple times for training and for the job interview, and overall I just felt severely depressed, and I didn't want to tell anybody. I maybe told my mom how depressed I was. I remembered Googling, is it okay to leave your job in the first 90 days? Because, like, and I want to make this clear, the job was exactly what they said it was. There was no lying. Like, it was very upfront, like, this is what they said the job was, and that's what it was. It's just, I realized that who I thought I was is not who I am. Like, I thought that I wanted a nice, calm, cool, collected job where there's a predictable workload. You come in, you do your time, you don't solve any problems, you just have your stuff to do, you just have your 15 articles, and that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what I thought that I wanted at the time. And like, I thought that this was going to be my forever job. Well, not forever, but this was going to be my job until I eventually moved on to a bigger station and got to go back home to Kansas City and be with my parents. Within 90 days, I was wanting to quit. And when people would say to me, you need to stick it out for at least a year. You don't want to be a job hopper. You want to, even though you hate it, you just have to get through it. And like, the idea of working an entire, I mean, now I'm almost there. But at the time, the idea of working an entire year at this job, that like, again, there is nothing wrong with this job. I like the people. The workload is predictable. It's exactly what they said it was. And I just couldn't do it. You know, I felt like I was messing up all the time, and I think I started using food to cope with how I felt, because it was just an easy way to cope with all the emotions. And I would go to my therapist and I would talk about other things, because I didn't want to talk about how depressed I was. I didn't want to talk about the fact that I had stopped writing fan fiction. I had stopped making YouTube and TikTok videos. I had stopped posting on Instagram. I had stopped doing almost everything. I stopped showering, I stopped changing clothes, I just stopped. I just laid in bed, and when I wasn't eating or working, I was sleeping. And I wish that I could say that I knew why I felt this way, you know. Because I have bipolar disorder, I have like a depressive element to it. And, you know, at the time I was anemic, and I just had COVID. So my mom would say to me, I think you're depressed, I think you need to increase your antidepressant. And I just thought to myself, no, it's not depression. It's a combination of iron and COVID. And if I didn't have an iron deficiency, if I didn't have long COVID, because like my doctor continuously wants to diagnose you with long COVID, if I didn't have those two things, then I would be fine. That this was not depression, this was not emotional, this was all physical, and that's why I was sleeping. And I was eating because it made my stomach feel good, instead of feeling like I wanted to get sick. Because you guys know, you know, I cried on here before about how horrible my stomach was. And I'm glad that I don't deal with it as badly anymore. It's still there. But like, I felt miserable. I felt numb. We went up on my antidepressant, and I just didn't, like, it didn't make me feel better. And that's why I'm making a change. I'm not ready to say what the change is right now. I'm not going to be leaving my job for a while. I do still have my part-time job, and in case you're wondering, the part-time job isn't putting extra stress on me. I think that it's the only thing that's actually making me happy anymore. Because, like, there's so much in my life that makes me not happy. I feel like I don't know what to talk about on YouTube. I feel like I'm a phony because I can eat things now. Like, I have all these emotions. And I think that, you know, I talked about this in the body dysmorphia video. I am trying to get over it, but I felt a lot of guilt and shame over the fact that, you know, I had said that I was not going to gain the weight back that I lost. Even though, you know, I lost it from being sick. I was like, this is just my weight now. And, you know, I gained a lot of weight. I gained 2 sizes. I went up 2 sizes in clothes. And that was really hard. I don't like talking measurements on this channel. I will for blood sugar because I think that that's actually helpful, but I don't think that talking about the number that's my weight, the number that's the clothing size that I wear, I don't think that that's helpful for anyone. But it was quite difficult for me because when I got really sick, I don't know if I have pictures. I may throw some up from when I got sick, how much weight I lost when I got sick. And I gained all of that back, plus, like, it took me a year and something to lose all that weight from being sick, and it took me a couple of months to gain all that back and more, to be at the highest weight that I've ever been, to be at the biggest size that I've ever been. And it was difficult emotionally because when I eventually felt good enough to start going out and buying clothes again that fit me at the smaller size, I was able to get a lot of clothes that I really liked and that made me feel happy. That didn't make me feel like, oh my goodness, I'm just dying, I'm just wasting away. Because even though obviously I was nowhere near, you know, I was still very overweight, I felt like I was wasting away, and I even kind of looked like it. And I felt ashamed. I lived in the same, you know, a certain size clothing that I had bought thinking that it would fit, and it was way too big, and pretty soon that was the size that I was, and that was the only thing that I had that was that size, and I felt a lot of guilt, I felt a lot of shame. I felt like, what am I doing with my life? I felt like a failure. I felt like a phony. But But I did go to the store before I went to Chicago, and I bought like 2 weeks worth of clothes, and it all looks nice and it fits. And then more recently, yesterday, I went to the store again, and everything that I had gotten the first time was stuff that was on the clearance rack. So it was all like winter clothes, but winter, springy clothes. But it was all nice stuff, and I didn't have any just around the house stuff that fit. So like, I didn't have t-shirts. So I went to Kohl's and I bought a bunch of t-shirts. And I bought some shorts. And that's basically what I bought. I think a couple pairs of leggings. And like, I really needed that. And I'm trying not to use shopping to replace food. And I know that for the first few days that I worked, I was having a really hard time because all I wanted to do was eat. I wanted to go back to those patterns. My blood sugar was high. My blood sugar has been high because, long story short, I picked up the wrong type of insulin because the doctor sent me a prescription for one type of insulin, and that's not the type of insulin that I take. And it's been causing my blood sugars to be super high. And so I've just been really overwhelmed and stressed out, but it was really nice to go yesterday and to buy those clothes. And they'll be like, look mom, look at all these new clothes that I bought. Look at all these new pairs of shorts. And so yeah, I'm doing better. I'm making a change. And I think that that's all I have to say. I'm not going to talk about the change right now. I do plan on doing a whole separate video, but I don't want that video to be bogged down by the sadness that I feel right now when it comes to my job, when it comes to why I had to go to Chicago. I don't want the joy and levity of the video about what I'm doing next to be brought down by the depression and sadness of a video about the fact that I basically couldn't cope with things and that I was binging. So I did not intend on crying this much in this video, but I think I'm going to see you guys next time. And hopefully next week I'm going to try to do, like, edit my, my what I eat in a day. I'm going to film tomorrow. I promise I'm going to be really good. I'm going to film what I eat in the day tomorrow. And then you can see what it was that I was eating when I was in Chicago versus what I eat here. Because it's actually quite different now that I actually have access to Walmart. So, alright. Bye, guys.